Hello and welcome to Anonymous Animators Review. Today we're reviewing F is for Family. I'm your host, Wesley Boone.
I'm Emily Strasser.
And we'll hop straight through it. So Emily, I don't know if you have any information regarding the show, but F is for Family is on Netflix. We just caught it now. Mm-hmm. It's fairly new to the point of this recording.
Yeah, it premiered like December 18th, I think.
Yeah. So we just caught it. Yeah. We watched it all yesterday. We didn't realize it was only, at least the first season, we didn't realize it was only 6 episodes.
Yeah.
We were expecting the usual 12, 13 plus episodes, and yeah, it ends on this like, what? No, we want more type of thing. But again, it's also one of those things where I can see it ending where it has, because that's the end of that chapter. You know, it's a chapter that closes. It's got that BoJack Horseman real feel to it, that real life feel to it, in the sense that BoJack Horseman is at least it still has like animals to put like a goofy face on like these real world problems of like depression and societal like pressure and all that stuff, addictions, and you know, trying to be a good person when you're not, or in having like, you know, problems growing up, and you know, all the stuff that BoJack Horseman covers, which we cannot like discuss in a blurb. This one is set in like what, the 80s?
The 70s.
Yeah, so around about the 70s. It's
a brainchild of comedian Bill Burr. Apparently, it's about his childhood.
Yeah, Bill Burr is a comedian. He's quite funny. Very so. I'm guessing he was the main voice actor because that's the main guy. He yeah, because that's his type of comedy too. He's very loud and aggressive,
very vulgar, even and that kind of. That's kind of the first thing that struck out to me is just how vulgar it is, but it's like you have to keep in mind that this is the 70s. Political correctness isn't really a thing.
Yeah, like the show is like steeped in all of that.
Yeah.
You know, it starts off with stuff like, one of the earliest things like the mom says is to the kids when they're running out to go play, she's like, come back when the lights turn on.
Yeah.
Like, there's no parental guidance of the children. They're just going to go run out and have fun and be kids. And the kids are doing dangerous things. They're playing baseball with a lead pipe and
light
bulbs. Or they're, the water slide thing
on the
middle of the street, you know. It's like all the stuff that we know we don't do anymore because we don't want our kids to die, because we're also a very overprotective society. But at the same time, has taken away a lot of like what lets kids, I guess, sometimes explore themselves. But then there's like the way the parents handle like growing up their kids. It's not that quote unquote hippie parenting or new age parenting where you reward the kid for everything that he does. It's like, no, if you get bad grades, your parents get angry at you. If you if you don't look after your sister, your dad's gonna, as this guy's his catchphrase, I guess, is put you through a wall, which sounds like something Bill Burr's dad would probably have said, and like you pointed out.
My first comment was this dad seems to be based on the creator's dad. Like this looks like he is painting a picture of his father for us to, because one of the things it kind of reminds me, I never met my paternal grandfather, but I imagine he was kind of like this, like especially when all of his kids are young and you know he's working this job and having to feed 10 children.
Yeah,
so
it's also set in that time period of America where it's not about the job you want, but it's about needing a job so you can supply for your family.
Yeah,
and then of course expecting that as the father of the household, expecting the respect from your kids, from your wife. You know, he's still, and a lot of it's like, it's not ironic in the sense of, you know, they're saying these things. This is literally how people were. Even me growing up in the 90s, a lot of it was kind of like this. Like, my mom was allowed to work, but she was the wife, she was the keeper of the house. It was more my mom's way of dealing with things than my dad. I think my dad was a little bit more progressive than my mom. But
not so much in my household, but we've discussed it. In my household, we were a little bit weird like that. My mom, when my brothers and I were super young, I think my mom she was a stay-at-home mom because, you know, we're like 4. So, but then like when we got old enough, she started working. And so, because it was like, oh, we can make our own peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. We don't need mommy to make PB&J for us. But I don't know. I don't know. I've had discussions with other people about the fact that my dad cooks, and it like blows people's minds. So.
my dad doesn't necessarily cook so much as, like, I mean, he definitely handles the barbecue. Mm-hmm. And then there's a couple, like, pasta recipes that he pulls off. And then he'll make sandwiches and whatever. But it's definitely not on the same level of, like, my mom. Like, when my mom cooked, you know, it was this huge, delicious meal. You know, there was vegetables, there was, like, 3 different colors on the plate. When my dad cooked, it was either, like, with pasta, red and white, or there was steak and bread. You know, like, those were our meal options with my dad.
My mom was definitely a very hearty kind of meal person, but my dad grew up and he was a bachelor for a long time and he was very poor, so he used to eat a lot of vegetables, so a lot of his meals consisted of lots of vegetables.
Yeah.
So
this show, F is for Family, like, definitely encapsulates that previous generation's way of thinking about things. The wife was the housekeeper. They're definitely stepping into the area now where women were. I mean, I know, like, in other TV shows, what's it called?
Which one?
I'm trying to sorry to derail it, but was that Mad Men? Like, in there, that's set in the 50s, right? And that what I found very peculiar, like, and I don't know how accurate it is because obviously I never lived in the 50s. Mm-hmm. But what it looked like there was men at that time period. Sure, they wanted, if you were a wife, that was your job. Mm-hmm. But if you were a working woman, that was your job. Mm-hmm. You know, like, that's how it was seen. It was only really, like, because then you see, like, the next generation of kids come in. So the guys from the 30s to the 50s, like the main characters in Mad Men, they were like, oh, whatever, if you're a woman and you work hard, you're welcome to our positions. You just need to work as hard as we do. Mm-hmm. Maybe harder because, again, you're a woman. But whereas the men in those women, the women who are now working generation, who are not secretary work. I'm talking about, like, you know, like the one girl's being an advertiser as well, or a graphic designer or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they would talk down to, like, women. They would treat the woman really badly. You know, it's like that next generational thing. So, like, I think there is, like, another sort of lost in translation thing going on in the sense of generational gaps. I think there must be this point where we started treating women like the children of our children of the fathers treated women like objects rather than the fathers.
Yeah.
You know, and so, like, now we're, like, leaving that generation behind because I think there's, like, an expectation. Like, think of it like, I don't know. It's just like I think there's just, like, a mistranslation somewhere.
I'm thinking more along. My train of thought comes more along the lines of, like, you know, the 70s were. So my understanding of the 70s is that was round about the era of second wave feminism and first wave feminism. You know, that was the whole suffrage movement. You know, women's right to vote. So first wave feminism was about mostly women being able to vote. Second wave feminism was more about culture, like, women culturally and professionally. And we're sort of in third wave feminism now, which encompasses a whole other hullabaloo of stuff, but I don't want to get into it right now. But yeah, my understanding is that because I mean, there's an episode in which, like, the wife has this sort of part-time job, but she's not really getting paid except in Tupperware, and she wants to turn it into a part-time job so that she's not just a wife and mother.
Yeah. And she points out, like, in the episode, right, she's like, all I have is my kids and me being a wife, and if you took that away, I am nothing else.
Yeah.
And I think that was a problem for a lot of women, because I think as women started getting more freely educated, coming out of college, high school even, then they weren't allowed doing anything after that. You know, it was like, oh, now you become a wife. Yeah. And that's what you do. And I saw that with my mom too. Like, she was not a professional. Like, she was a secretary for a lot of people, but she was never, like, a professional that was like, oh, she jumped into the next job and she had, like, a set pay or whatever. It was like, oh, whoever would take her jumping between jobs.
Yeah, even my mom has explained to me that when she moved out of the house, it was either that, because she didn't really go to college until much later in her life. You know, it's not like me where pretty much right after high school I started college. But, you know, which is sort of the expectation now. But back when she was, that and she couldn't really afford it. Yeah. So she just didn't go to college. So it was basically like the expectation for a woman, pretty much 18, you either get married right away or you start working. Like, that's it. You know, that's my understanding of how the expectation was when she was 18.
Well, and again, you saw this in F is for Family. Like there's definitely a lot of little things brought up in this show. Mm-hmm. Like so, not only just like how the kids are looked after, not only just how the women are treated, and again, it's not like the main character was bad to his wife. Mm-hmm. He was the father, but again, both of them as well. Like they're not happy in their marriage. I mean, they love each other, but again, it was a marriage because he got her pregnant and they had to get married. Societal pressure.
Yeah, they were very much a product of their time.
Yeah, he would have become a pilot, possibly, as it's mentioned. But he couldn't go on with his training because he had to get a job to support for his family. And again, that is just. I mean, in today's age, if you accidentally had a kid, for the most part, there are a lot of other options.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, abortion's becoming a little bit more allowed, things like that. Or
depending on where you live.
Yeah, depending on where you live, sure. But I mean, let's use the States as an example, because this is where the show is like set in.
Wesley.
Just because you have people firebombing churches and clinics doesn't mean abortion isn't legal.
Oh, believe me, there are people very making
the sanctity of life. Kill all the doctors.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's the point being is it's like set into this time where that wasn't really an option. I mean, abortion's has been around since forever, but
it's been around since the Middle Ages.
Yeah,
much.
I mean, ever since we figured out we can get a stick in there and pull it out.
Oh God, don't be so graphic.
It's what you use. Sometimes it was a rusty fucking tongue. It was like,
oh, please don't. No, just Wesley.
I'll show you some medieval abortion devices. They're terrible.
Oh God.
It's like, I'm surprised the woman survived it, which I think they didn't.
Well,
90% of the time.
Well, like, listen, if you got pregnant in the Middle Ages, you basically had a half chance of living through that birth anyway. So it was like, either way I die. So
yeah. So it was either that or, like go on. And so obviously them being a Christian-based family.
I think they were Catholic, weren't they?
Yeah, well, they were Irish, and so there's they've got altar boys. So altar boys is a Catholic thing.
Yeah. Well, that's why I thought they took him to be an altar boy.
And anyways, but now, other than all of the quote unquote white people problems, there's also like this people of color representation. It's hilarious, right?
Oh my gosh!
Because there's this one guy who's like the reporter who reports on everything.
Yes!
He reports on black people in America as if he's it's like black people in America featuring this guy, and he's like a white guy, old white dude, and he's like, I'm here talking about black people and how they suffer, and then he like talks to the black people and then talks down to them like in a very racially insensitive way. But
like, how do you people think of blah 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 blah?
Yeah. How do you people? And it's like
very tongue in cheek, but it's like,
well, no, it's still not like completely unironically. It's like that is how things were. Even the main character, I just wish, what's his name? The main character, he like when he goes into the quote unquote dangerous neighborhood where one of his best friends lives, it turns out. He like freaks out. He's like, "Nah, don't kill me!" And Frank Murphy. That's right. So Frank Murphy is the main character, and so like there's this underlying sort of cultural misogyny, cultural racism that's prevalent throughout this whole thing.
Well, I mean, the name of the airlines that Frank works for is the Mohican Airways.
Yeah, and then the advertisement for the Mohican Airways, right, was a police chief going, "How?" And then the voiceover saying,
"Police chief? You mean
sorry, a Native American chief." I was police chief. Sorry, guys, but why did I say police chief?
I was wondering. It's like, wait.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
So the native chief, he's like, "How?" And then the voiceover goes, "Do we keep prices so low?" And then, "How do we travel so far?" It's like, and then it's like, "How?" And then the guy's like, "Not how, but when will you buy your ticket on Mohican Airlines?" And then like the white lady brings him a cloth, and he freaks out because the whole joke. I don't think that was like intentional for the ad, but that was a joke for the audience, like who's watching it. Like, because obviously, white person giving a Native American a cloth, doesn't end well. So,
not for the Native American.
Yeah. So there's like lots of little things. Or when Murphy is watching the TV show that he loves, and there's like this like. It's obviously Steven Seagal parody of something, and so this in the Steven Seagal parody, he's fighting.
He fights like a black pimp or something, and then like
his black
man.
his black pimp. The black pimp is his friend, but he definitely speaks.
Oh, right.
Like, oh, yo, you know what's up, ho? You know, like it's all very. Sorry, my voice is a bit cracky, but cracker.
Oh my God, Wesley.
Well, I'm allowed saying cracker. I'm a white person.
No.
Well, it's anyway. So and then they fight like Asian guys, and it's like how you think people are going to be racist towards Asian people is exactly how it's portrayed. It's like the cultural stereotype, like the L's and the R's are getting mixed up, and then when they want to say like a word, and then they don't even speak like I'm going to get you. It's like me going to get you type of thing. You know, it's like anybody who's not white apparently can't form proper sentences like English sentences.
You know, the kind of things you could never ever get away in American television, especially these days, were commonplace. But you got to keep in mind, this was in a completely different time period, right?
Yeah, a lot of it was okay, but again, then there are points that they do bring up where, like, Murphy goes into the bar with his black friend, whose name is Rosie, I think,
something like that.
Yeah, and they go into the black bar, not the black bar, but it's a bar, and just I guess where black people hang out, and so one of the black people in the background make a comment, is like, "Oh, he looks like a cop," and another guy says, "Oh, they all do." And I thought that was quite clever because that's a jab at, oh, he looks like a criminal. Mm-hmm. Oh, they all do type of thing. Yeah. Back at and it's like, and then when like Frank Murphy pretends to be a cop, he's like, everybody stick him up, and then like his buddy's like, no, not in here. That's not a good idea. So there's like a lot of nice little cultural callbacks and things that are seen then also from the other side. Like if you watch TV from that era, mm-hmm. the woman never cried. Yeah. You know, she was never frustrated with her life. Black people never complained. They were laughing at that type of thing. Mm-hmm. You know, it's that was how the world was. You know, everything was perfect. Yeah. And now that people are giving voices to complaining more, mm-hmm. you know, it's like now that we can actually be heard a lot easier. I say we, I'm not included. I'm white male. I have no say in any of this. But now that they have their voices, they've got a soapbox to stand on and be heard. It's like now people are hearing it more and they're like, oh, but this wasn't that bad in the 70s. Like, no, there was no such thing as the good old days. Yeah. The good old days were just as bad, if not worse. And we just now can voice our concerns. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. It's definitely shocking for myself being from the generation that I'm from, watching these band... one of my guilty pleasures is watching band cartoons. Like, especially the ones from the Disney World War II era.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, because...
Jeez, like that, the one with... Was it Daffy Duck and the Chinese guy?
Oh, I don't remember. Was it...
Daffy Duck is Warner Brothers. But,
with Donald Duck, you mean?
Maybe it was Bugs Bunny still.
Because Bugs Bunny...
I know Bugs Bunny fought Germans.
Bugs Bunny cartoons, especially during the World War II era, were blatant racism. Just straight up, no argument, straight up stereotypes. Yeah. Like, this is why they are banned, is because they are... It's because they're racist.
Yeah, like the Chinese guy with the buck teeth and the super slanty eyes.
I think it was supposed to be Japanese because we were fighting the Japanese at the time.
Yeah, that would make more sense. But still the Asian guy with all those features.
Yes.
They would like rip off any of the Europeans, like the Krauts or whatever, and then just like over exaggerate. But again, that comes where the caricature comes in, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's a comic, it's a cartoon. You're going to draw a caricature of somebody and then over exaggerate their features. Sadly, it became like a racist thing, like because to the point of like, oh, that's how we're going to see them from now on. Mm-hmm. It's not like now we're making, because I mean, if you look at any other caricature of somebody, like look at like a Johnny Depp. I don't even really know his main features, but you look at somebody who's got like a really big buck teeth or something, mm-hmm. or like Sandra Bullock or something, and then like they'll draw her with a big smile and like, you know, these huge teeth, and then that's the joke. It's like, haha, we're making fun of that one little part of you, and that's kind of the same thing with a cultural thing. It's just become negative because obviously people have put it into a negative thing, and mm-hmm. we make fun of instead of just, you know, it's like we're making fun of and we're discriminating against instead of just laughing. Yeah, so there's a lot of that type of stuff in F is for Family. You know, just like racial jokes and everything. That old sensibility.
the kind of stuff that would never fly.
Yeah, stuff that would, like, I mean, I'm surprised it even made it on F is for Family. But, you know, it's the thing that, like, I guess, like, things like Family Guy make fun of also.
Yeah, but they don't do it in a satirical sense. They do it in kind of a sad, and funny sense.
Yeah, well, especially lately. But maybe one day we'll review Family Guy. I don't know.
There's a lot.
Yeah, it's too much.
Anyway, that's a bit of a.
But okay, well, back to F is for Family itself. I want to just sort of wrap up with animation at least, and the animation was. I mean, it was hand-drawn, right?
No, it was puppets.
Puppets?
I'm pretty sure.
Wow, I mean, because some of those run cycles were pretty good. I worked on Pirate Express, and those run cycles were all puppets.
Yeah, so. Well, I mean, even on the show that I work on, it's like, yeah, it's all puppets, but we hand-draw a lot of stuff, too, so... Yeah.
So just for those who aren't familiar with the vernacular, puppet animation is you basically build a rig that you manipulate, and you don't have to redraw every single frame, so you can put that rig in every frame.
Yeah, you basically draw the turnaround head, and then you draw the mouths, and that way you can just kind of manipulate.
It's a good way for low cost animation to sort of mass produce some decent looking stuff.
And I do kind of feel like this show, like I kind of feel like they were taking a huge risk with this show, which is probably why there's only 6 episodes. It's
definitely that. Yeah, they're starting off with here's a concept. Let's see how it does. Mm-hmm. It's on Netflix for one, so they probably didn't start off with a lot of money. Though again, the animation's decent. It's not terrible. Yeah, I mean, it's not amazing,
especially in that opening scene.
Yeah, the opening sequence is quite interesting, which I think we'll discuss before we start discussing the episodes.
Okay.
But the animation itself, like, look, I mean, again, we're not discussing Disney masterworks here. But it was definitely good, akin to BoJack Horseman, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there were a lot of talking head scenes, but there was a lot of, like, secondary animation. There was a lot of, like, stuff like getting out of the car. Like, they're like, and then the car bouncing. And
the animation quality did seem to jump from scene to scene. Like, sometimes it was pretty decent. Yeah, sometimes it's pretty decent, and other times it would, like, jump weirdly. And you probably don't notice it unless you're an animator.
Yeah.
But I do kind of feel like this is pretty true for a lot of first season shows, is that they don't quite know where their foothold is, so they just kind of make a show and then later go back and see what looks good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I think with this, there was definitely, because there are some scenes that are like really well animated, like full body sequences or running sequences or diving and action sequences, and then there are other scenes that are it's just like a head.
Yeah.
And the mouth shapes also were interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's one thing I always sort of pick up with these shows is like how do they express with the mouths?
That's probably because that's like 90% of your job.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's like, yeah, I got good body movement. Now for lip sync. Oh.
Yeah. Well, I actually don't mind lip sync so much. I actually kind of sometimes enjoy it.
Oh, okay.
It depends, because if I can also make like the mouth sort of rotate a little bit, not rotate, but just like sort of bounce. You know, like I like doing that. If I can get away with it. I often get called and they're like, please don't make your mouth move because we don't like you expressing yourself.
Don't be mean.
Okay, well, what else? The soundtrack's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's all obviously 70s music. Come and Get Your Love is the intro song.
Yeah.
Which is probably made very popular now because of Guardians of the Galaxies, that mixtape.
Oh, right.
But nonetheless, it's a great song, and it works well. And yeah, that's all I can really... Oh, voice work is great.
Mm-hmm.
The acting in general... there was only one character. Remember I pointed it out to you. There was one character who had like... Was it this? Yeah, it was this. He had like... It was like in episode 3. He had... the boss.
Yeah.
The boss. Right. He had like no expression whatsoever. Everybody else sort of like their eyebrows furrow and move around and they're like when they're sad or whatever. The boss is like the top off of his head especially. Didn't emote at all. Like his mouth was like or whatever, but whenever you didn't know if he was angry or not. And I don't know if that was like part of the design, like, oh, this guy's like so plastic surgeryed up, like he has no expression or something.
Yeah, I don't know. That's Yeah, I honestly don't know. It kind
Because,
of.
I mean, like, remember that time where they're signing the stuff, and then they're talking about his wife?
Mm.
And he's like, how dare you think I'd do that? But, like, there was, like, no expression there. I was like, I don't know if that's
Maybe
part
they
of it.
didn't finish the eyebrows.
Maybe, yeah. I mean,
that happens a lot in animation where it's like...
That thing isn't finished.
Yeah, all the time. All the time. It's like, we need these mouth loops, and then it's like, oh, we don't have them, and then I have to draw them.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd think, like, in animation, hands, mouths, and eyebrows and eyes would be like, oh, well, that's where all the acting is. Let's get those done, but...
Actually, that was the big thing that stuck out to me was hands.
Yeah?
Like, I could tell when they were using stock hands, and other times when other people had to draw the hands. Because the hand... The style of the hand would jump around, and for me, like, 90% of my job is drawing hands, so I notice when the hands have been drawn by somebody else, as opposed to the person who built the rig, and I notice that a lot. Like, if you go back and watch a lot of the hands, like, sometimes they look really nice and really, like, anatomically correct and they're proportional. And other times it's like the fingers are really weirdly short. And the hand isn't even... Like, the hands are two different sizes or something. Or, like, the person doesn't know... Is trying to draw this really complicated hand pose but doesn't know how hands are built. And that drives me crazy. So...
So obviously a couple of, like, shortcuts here and there. I feel there must have been a smaller team working on it.
I'm sure they just didn't have the budget for it. I would not be surprised.
But that all being said, I enjoyed the animation. I enjoyed the story. I think the animation was better than BoJack.
I think it varies. Because sometimes I feel like BoJack was, I don't know, maybe that was just me, but I felt like for the most part BoJack was pretty consistent. This one kind of felt jumpy.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Alright, well, we're going to get into spoiler territory now, so we're going to like probably discuss in depth a little bit more each episode. So if you don't want to hear it from here on out, don't worry about it. Like, any contact information will be down in the YouTube box.
If you're interested in it so far, like, if you don't mind if you understand that the racist jokes are supposed to be a reflection of the time period.
Yeah, they're definitely not, like, they don't mean it. They mean it's like, oh, look what they did. It's look what they did back then. It's not look what we think now. Yeah.
So if you understand that, and the other thing I will say going in is that it's bittersweet is the word we discussed. It is very BoJack Horseman in the sense that it's a comedy, it's a sitcom, but expect a little bit of heavy-heartedness.
Yeah, it does make you sort of get sad a bit for a second for him.
Yeah.
You know, for Frank Murphy.
And
it's reflective of real life, because I mean real life has its ups and downs, and it does a pretty good job of that.
Yeah. But I felt it was a good mix of just, stupid, lighthearted, kids being dumb kids.
Yeah, I mean, this is no Rick and Morty, where it's like, oh, we're going to travel the universe and have a sad family situation. It's like, see, with BoJack Horseman, again, they at least have the animals to like, sort of steer you away from this, like, real-world sadness. Whereas this is like, no, this is a real-world sadness. Why it's a cartoon, I guess it's maybe that's what sort of... Because again, when I watch a cartoon, I'm expecting, like, laughs. Yeah. LAFFS, just, I want to laugh and smile and see the goofy characters. There was none of that. I don't exactly know why you would choose this to be an animation exactly, because with animation the idea is you have a lot more open to you, right? You can do a lot more ridiculous stuff.
It could just be that somebody was like, hey, Family Guy's a thing. You should animate it, because that's a thing.
No, I mean, maybe. That's why I was put off a little bit in the beginning with F is for Family, because I thought it was going to be like, oh, here's a Family Guy rip-off type of thing.
I thought so too, actually.
Yeah, and so why did we watch it? I don't know. I think we just were like, oh, let's see what happens.
We just kind of said, screw it,
let's see it. It's not Family Guy. That's what should be the review, like, Anonymous Animators. It's not Family Guy. There you go. I mean, go watch it and enjoy it. It's good times.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to love Family Guy, not so much anymore.
Yeah, recent seasons have just made us very sad.
Anyway, so spoiler zone entering now. So we're going to start off with the discussion of, just a quick, review of the intro. The intro is actually really pretty.
Yeah. It's very, like, it tells a lot in a very little amount of time. Like, BoJack Horseman, it told basically what you needed to know, but not a lot. Yeah. I kind of feel like it was just it felt very avant-garde.
And the reason why we're comparing BoJack Horseman and this show a lot together is because they're the Netflix original cartoons right now, right? So, adult cartoons at least. Maybe that's why it's a cartoon. But, yeah, so it starts off a character like he just flies up into the air, starts introducing "Come and get your love," and he is like a young lad, and he's like full of spirit and everything, just like flying out of college and obviously getting ready to enter the real world.
No, he was out of high school because he didn't go to college because of he wanted to go to flight school.
Okay, so you guys wear that what do you call that hat?
I don't remember I want to say it's something board.
Yeah, something. Well, so you wear that at high school as well?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. Okay, well, maybe we do too, but I know I didn't.
I have both of them.
So, okay, fine. He comes out of high school, and he's got his little hat, the high scholar hat, and takes that off, and then, geez, it's just like life starts throwing things at him, right? He gets draft notice, and then that disappears, and then he gets like fat. Well, not fat, but he gets.
Well, no. First he gets hit with the milk bottle.
Oh yeah, obviously indicating he's getting a kid. Excuse me, guys. And when you're done, I'd like a sip of that too.
Okay.
Jeez, one of these days you're going to learn my hand signals. Because you always look at me like, what is he doing?
Use your words.
But I'm trying to like not say it on the air. Like, share with me. So it's basically just life-throwing things at him. He starts seeing like foreclosure notices and all these things. He gets fat and bald and older. That didn't even help at all. Sorry, guys. And yeah,
want a cough drop?
Probably. And it's an interesting sequence. And then he falls into his chair.
No, he gets hit with the F first, and then he falls into his chair.
Yeah, the logo for the F is for family hits him, and then he falls into his chair, and then he's surrounded by his family. Well, this is where you see all of them for the first time, so you sort of get a general feel for what's happening.
Yeah.
But he is sitting in the middle of this chair like, oh, I do not want to be here.
Yeah.
You know? But again, he's still the guy who brought them all together. I guess. He's the one who made the kids, and they were a family because of him. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, I think, as you said, that explains all you need to know about his life getting to that point. Because it's obviously that baby bottle hits him in the head, and he's like, whoa, what? I didn't expect this.
Yeah.
You know? I didn't expect any of this stuff. Like, the draft notice also slaps him in the head. Like, it's everything just, like, bumps. He's like, I don't want any of this. Why is this all, like, ramming into me? It's all this debris. And it's all just junk that you tally up as you grow older.
Yep.
So then we hop into the first episode.
It's Bleedin' in Sweden, which is where he gets a color TV.
Oh my goodness, yeah. That's the first thing I thought when I saw their TV, is they're watching a black and white TV, and I'm like, oh, didn't they have color TV at this point? And so then, the episode is pretty much...
Well, that's like us getting a smart TV, right? It's like, ooh, look at this fancy technology. Back then, that was the fancy technology.
Yeah. We just bought a TV for $300, and it's like a 34-inch TV, which is like amazing to me. And he bought like this really horrible big $700 color TV with this tiny screen. And
they're talking about the wood finish on it too, and I'm just like, because like I've never seen a wood finish TV. Like, you know,
I used to have one.
Really? Wow. If I had one, because all of the TVs I ever had plastic. Like, I remember the thick back TVs, you know, with all the tubes and crap. But I never saw, like, a wood finished TV.
No, I used to play my Sega Genesis on it.
Good lord.
Yeah, like, and this new TV that we just bought is, like, it weighs... I don't want to exaggerate, but I think it weighs like 2 kilograms. It's like so light. I could hold it with one hand without realizing it. I thought there was nothing in the box. When I picked up the box the first time, I was like, is there a TV in here? And they're like, yeah, it's just really, and it's really crazy light. I don't know where the cords. I didn't even know we had materials that light. I think it's like a black hole inside there. It's just absorbing everything.
Yeah. And then the youngest kid ruins it with the magnet, which I didn't know.
Yeah, so, well, I mean, the reason why I knew is because I did that to my TV.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, and not just TVs, like even old CRT computer screens. I had these really big computer speakers, and inside computer speakers, there are, well, not just computer speakers, but speakers in general, there are these huge magnets. And so if you put them next to your CRT screen, but what I did was one day, instead of having them next to on each side of the screen, I put them on top of each other on one side of the screen. Came back like the next day, and there was this huge purple warp on the side of my computer screen, and it was like that forever. But yeah, I've done the magnet thing to TVs because I mean, you're a kid, you're like, oh, what is this? So that's why I knew, and that's why I knew he was going to get into trouble because. So obviously he plays with a magnet on the TV, the brand new TV, breaks the TV. But it all sort of and this is where the sort of happy-go-lucky cartoon thing kicks in, right? Where it's not really real life, where the kid solves the problem. He wanted to go to apologize to the TV salesman, but the salesman's a jerk. So the kid like wipes all the TVs with a magnet, and sort of solves the problem. The whole problem gets solved and stuff. Like he doesn't have to replace the TV, or he gets a replacement because of all the TVs being sold that were bad. And so like that's where I thought like, oh, this is where it's going to go. Like it's going to be like here's the conclusion. It gets solved by some sort of happenstance. But no, that's just the first episode. None of the later episodes do that. Yeah,
because there's this continuous, like every episode is contained within itself, but there's this continuous storyline with the pilots and the airport and
the baggage handlers are preparing to go on strike, and so Frank just gets a promotion
because one of the guys gets beheaded.
Yeah, gets decapitated on a plane. Because again, this is like the 70s, and there was like no safety restrictions.
So yeah, he didn't wear a clip-on tie, so he got his tie caught in a propeller and then got beheaded, which I don't think is possible, but
I don't know. Those things move pretty quick. I would imagine that can happen.
I think you'd get sliced, but I don't think your head would come clear off.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they exaggerated it a bit, but which you don't want to put your head in. It'll come off. The airplane propellers move crazy fast.
Really?
Yeah, it's a piece of metal that's just like hundreds of miles per hour.
That's true. Okay, you probably would then.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he dies, and Frank gets a promotion for he becomes like what is it, like the baggage manager?
It's pretty much just the manager of the whole thing.
Yeah. So he ends up getting caught between the union workers, the baggage handlers,
his friends, which he was part of.
And then his bosses, which, basically... What was it that they called them? The baggage handlers? Those donkeys or something? Yeah,
the baggage donkeys or donkeys or something.
Yeah, something like that. And...
which is, again, very evident of American working conditions versus unions versus, I mean, like, even in one episode, I think it was in the second or the first episode, where they made reference to the Mohican Airlines, and they have this huge advertisement, and... Even Frank's like, you can't just put this advertisement up. You just said there's no money in the industry. Now you're paying this for this huge ad. Like, oh man, you're going to piss the union off.
He's not offended by the fact that they've used a Native American stereotype. Yeah, well, he's offended by the...
He wasn't a comedy. Like, I mean, he was, like, look how he treated black people. Or, I mean, he thought the show that he loves with the Steven Seagal ripoff was, like, legit. And, whenever, like, they would throw a punch and it was like, it missed.
I love that old action sequence. Anyway, there's also a thing with the oldest son, Kevin. Because he keeps flunking out. Like, he keeps getting notices, and the parents keep getting mad at him for, like, why are you flunking out of school? Yeah,
which is also something that, like, gets addressed much later, right? So, Kevin, it looks like he's just a burnout. Like your typical... burnout kid, and actually kind of turns out he's kind of a geek, right? Because because he's obsessed with this band who's like this fantasy band, like it's
like something with Frodo.
Yeah, the Shire of Frodo is the name of the band, or something like that, SOF. And it's a terrible band, like it's like this weird progressive rock. And then again, like the Frank Murphy says, it's like I'm old enough to realize when I see shit coming a mile away or something like that.
Yeah.
Or I can recognize shit. And it's true because I mean. Oh man, it was a funny Penny Arcade cartoon also I read to you about Undertale, where he was talking about, like, I didn't understand why my dad hated Nirvana, but now I do, because he hates Undertale.
Oh, right.
And, yeah, so, like, yeah, there's this whole thing, and...
Side note, I love Undertale, so...
me too. I just thought the comment was funny, but yeah.
I get it, yeah.
Yeah, so, geez, where were we?
Kevin failing.
Well, yeah, so you think kind of Kevin is just being a burnout dropout or whatever. But what it turns out to be is later on you find out, I think like in the 6th episode or the 5th episode, is that apparently Frank like left him in the pool and he was like submerged in the water for like 2 minutes as like a kid.
Yeah.
So obviously maybe causing some brain damage or on some level, you know?
Yeah, I thought that was so weird the way they addressed it, where it was just kind of like, oh, there it is and it's gone.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, in real life, that's how it would be.
Yeah.
The show is less about like sort of telling a story. This show is more akin to telling a story the Japanese way than it is the American way. Because in America, it's like always show and then do something with what you've just shown. Mm-hmm. Or Western storytelling, whereas Eastern storytelling is like, oh, here's adventure. You have to sort of pick up the slack yourself. You have to sort of piece everything together.
Right.
And I think they've done that a lot more in this one because it's life. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, even though the shows are self-contained, they're not self-contained to the point that it's like, oh, everything gets rectified in one episode. Mm-hmm. You know, that every episode is standalone. It's like, no, there's a little bit of what's happened, but that's what would happen in that time period. Oh, it's Christmas time, it's going to happen in those. It's Halloween, it's going to happen in those. You know, it's not like, oh, over 20 episodes, you're going to have this Halloween episode. You know,
yeah.
So, yeah, they sort of pinpoint these things. And maybe if they have a season 2, they'll discuss more of that type of thing.
I hope so. I'd hope they do have a season 2 because they did leave on a cliffhanger that
well, yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah. Anyway. Let's see.
Well, yeah, like each episode. We eventually. I mean, the first 3 episodes are just sort of establishing the family, establishing Frank's work situation. I mean, even his son Kevin.
Mm-hmm. He's got 2 sons. Bill is the younger son, and then there's what's the youngest daughter, like Maureen or something? Yeah. I don't know. I found Maureen to be the least interesting character, probably because we spend the least amount of time with her, and the fact that she just sort of ends up being a nuisance for Bill mostly. Yeah. So there's not much to discuss about her. But
yeah, at least, you know, like out of the female characters, the mom at least has a lot of sort of character development, right? Yeah. And we've discussed the mom pretty much throughout the episode. The mom is depressed at her life.
Yeah.
You know, she obviously also wants to be more. She is well educated. She's a good mom, you know, and she's trying to keep herself busy. But I mean, in the one episode she's finished, I think it was before the Halloween episode? She packs away all of her stuff, she's a Tupperware ripoff, I don't know what they call it. But she packs and sets up all the Tupperware packages, and then it's 3:00 and she's got nothing else to do. The kids are away, the husband's away, and she just bursts into tears, you know?
Yeah.
And then she tries to talk to the dog, and the dog obviously isn't interested until she offers it bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we then get into the Halloween, and that's where everything sort of starts picking up for like the whole, I guess, season finale. Because the strike is getting a lot more serious, or at least it hasn't happened yet, but it's borderline happening, you know. And they basically, corporate doesn't want anything to do with it. Management doesn't want anything. They don't care. They're not going to give the people any more money.
But they're scared because they know if the workers go on strike, especially around Christmas time, they're not going to survive. Like, the company's going to go down.
Yeah. So again, like a typical union versus company situation. Company doesn't want to increase the wages, like livable wages. And unions like, well, okay, that's fine, but then we're going to go on strike. Companies like, if you do that during Christmas time, it's bad for everybody, and then we will lose, and then everybody will be out of a job.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where nobody was willing to bend, but the thing is, it's not like the union guys could bend, because they need money to live, so it didn't make a difference to them. In fact, if they stopped working, they could at least take the big guys down with them.
Yeah.
Whereas, if they kept on doing it that way, then they wouldn't have enough money to live. So around about the Christmas time was the best time to do it. And geez, yeah, so it's between episodes 4, 5, 6 that
It wraps, because the 6 wasn't the last ones, and
Well, don't they sort it out on 5, or do they sort it out in the final episode, the strike?
Oh, it was the final episode.
Okay. Because I think they start the strike on episode 5.
I don't think so. I think it was still at the boiling point at that point. Okay.
Well, that's not the important thing. The interesting thing about it is Frank's situation.
Yeah.
Right. So Frank is obviously trying to appease both parties. He obviously wants to appease the management and the corporate side because he wants to rise in the ranks.
Yeah.
But he still wants to keep his friendship with the other guys, and both sides are sort of like pressuring him. His friends are like calling him a turncoat. And they're like, and he's like, no, I'm still your friend. But they're all angry at him because of what's transpired. He's gotten free basketball or baseball tickets, and and that also is that sort of. I'll put a point in this for now, but is the discussion of Frank and his family life, like when he takes young Bill out to the baseball game.
And that poor kid's innocence just gets ripped out of him.
Throughout the whole show, this kid just loses his innocence. Like in the baseball game, he goes to the men's bathroom, and it's just terrible. And he walks out like just with this look on his face, like I will never be the same again. And then like the last episode, he plays hooky. Or was it the last episode?
No, it was the 5th one where he gets suspended. He gets suspended because the bully is beating him up. Yeah,
which is so weird because it was like the bully, like while he's being taken away, shouts back at him. Like it's true that Bill started the fight because he like sucker punched him out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But the bully's like, I'm going to get you later while Bill is being taken away. And I don't know how realistic that is because I've heard horrible things about the US school system. But it's like, to me, that is so weird. I'd be like, he is threatening me while you are pulling me away. What is wrong with you people?
It's probably true. You know, despite the fact that this kid is like twice the size of Bill.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Anyway. So
I mean, I've told you about the times I would get beat up. When I was 14, I had to go to a PE class where it was basically like the jocks, the cheerleaders, and then the rest of us. And there were like 3 of the rest of us. And my coach was incredibly sexist, but that's a different story. Where he would separate us out so he would separate the teams, girls versus boys, except the boys are all football players. So they've got like easily twice as much weight as all of us. And so I used to get sat on, and I've had hockey sticks like slam right into my shin, and it was good times.
yeah, high school.
So if you ever need, believe me, I still have nightmares about the U.S. American system.
But anyway, so let's So the kid plays hooky from school because he doesn't want to get busted by his
he gets
parents.
suspended.
And he sneaks in at home, and then he's exploring his parents' room, and then he hides under the bed when they get home early, but then they have sex on the bed. And it's like there's this horrible view where he like pokes his head out from under the thing, and then like he can see Frank's like ass and balls. And it was like so horrible. I would never want to see that, like even my own body.
Good Lord, you never ever want to see your parents having sex.
Yeah, and he got like the right there angle. So yeah, it's really, but the whole show does a really good job of explaining like all the relationships Frank has and how he's actually a good, hardworking guy. Mm-hmm. He tries so hard to make, it's not like he's just gonna say screw the baggage guys, It's, I'm trying to make everybody happy. And he does sort it out. And then there are some sort of like goofy situations. Like when the boss is about to sign the arrangement, the boss's wife, Brandy, who is like this 20-year-old, if not younger, his trophy wife type of thing, who's really stupid. And she asks, can she have a pen? And so Frank says, no, you can't. There's just 2 of them and they've got them and it's just for the signing ceremony. Mm-hmm. And then the boss guy, like, freaks out. He's like, oh, you know, like, what, you say my wife can't have whatever she wants? You know, obviously, you know, projecting and whatever. And, like, to me, that was kind of a little ridiculous. Like, I get it, like, that he dotes on her and that, you know, if he's rich, so he should have everything he wants. I just think that could have been presented better.
Maybe.
Because that's a ridiculous premise to me. Like, the whole show itself has pretty... I mean, there's not that much ridiculousness in the show because it's all pretty much set in a reality.
Right.
But, like, that situation would be ridiculous. Like, everybody would be like, what the hell's wrong with you, man? Come on.
I thought it was more so about the characterization of the boss, about how the boss has, like, this... Like, he just has, like, no sense of how real life works. Mm-hmm. And yet he owns this entire airline company, and that's why the employees are so miserable, is because they have this boss who just has no sense of reality whatsoever.
Yeah, it doesn't comprehend money, which I guess that's the characterization.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't like it. It just took me out of it for a second. I'm like, oh, what, now we're in a goofy show again? Like, what's happening? Well, other than that, it was pretty okay. But then he solves it anyway, but Frank solves it, manages to convince the boss to sign the deal, but gets fired in the process. And this is where I liked Frank the most, was where he actually stood up for himself and started yelling at his, like, not the owner of the airlines, but his boss. Like, so the owner of the airlines had to sign the deal, but then there's, like, the management guy, like, the head management, I guess. And then Frank worked underneath this guy, this guy is massive. He's like, this fat guy is just, like, smoking and eating tubs and tubs of chicken, and he doesn't stand.
He's just constantly surrounded by, like, buckets of fried chicken.
Yeah, and he's just, like, super fat, and he doesn't stand, and when he gets anywhere, he has to, like, use, like, a little car.
Yeah.
He doesn't walk. And, like, when he does stand in one situation, it's like, ooh, got a low sugar rush. And, yeah, so Frank gets fired, and then he, like, says things to this guy, which I like this a lot. Like, to me, it was, like, a great part of Frank. He was, like, you could see he was just tiptoeing, and he was just doing his job, and he was just getting things done. And he got screwed over for, like, no reason. Mm-hmm. And, you know, is like, you know, he gets sort of, like, a little bit of revenge.
Yeah.
And it kind of made me, because, like, this is what I thought, like, this is episode 6. This is how episode 6 ends. He loses his job. He kind of makes a friend with his neighbor who he hated from the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, the neighbor we barely really need to talk about. He's just, like, this really successful DJ.
Yeah.
Who, like radio DJ. And who's made a lot of money. He's always high on cocaine. Always has ladies at his house.
Yeah. Very, very much the party animal.
Yeah. And, I mean, he even says, on the final episode, the Christmas episode, he's like, yeah, all of his friends who were at the Christmas party, they've all gone home. He's like, yeah, Christmas is for family. I'm for the other 364 days of the year. Mm-hmm. And then Frank actually, you know, who has shown throughout the whole episode, like, hated this guy.
Yeah.
And obviously the hate is a projection. It's like, I hate you because your life is the life I wanted. I was supposed to have your life. I was supposed to be single and whatever. And then every now and then he's like, all right, but I do love my family. Because he does. He genuinely loves his family.
I think the other thing, too, is the fact that this guy is revealed, he literally walked into the radio station and was like, I like your radio station. And the manager's like, I like you. Do you want a job? And that's how he got the job. Meanwhile, he had to work his butt off getting to the position.
Stay in the baggage position.
Yeah. So I think there's also that.
Well, I think what that is, in my personal opinion, is that sort of, that's not exactly what happened. I think it's the way Frank might see it. Oh. You know, like, because again, I think a lot of the time of what that guy is, like, really saying is just the way Frank hears it.
Oh, you think so? I
would think so. I think, because, I mean, we've never seen that guy by himself. He's always with Frank. And so I think, I mean, sure, the guy's had an easier life, that's for sure. Like, and he's been able to get away with a lot more. But I do think, like, because you can't just become a radio DJ just by walking in. It doesn't work that way. But I think he must think, this guy's life is so easy because, you know, he's going to buy another boat or whatever.
Yeah.
So he must envy that life. I think he must definitely want it on one hand. But again, whenever he thinks about or wants to defend his family, he remembers how much he loves his family. Mm-hmm. And again, that's a part of Frank I really like. I like Frank Murphy as a character because he is relatable. It's like he works hard. He tries to do everything right. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't always go right for him, you know. Yeah. He tries to supply for his family. He's trying to do the right thing the way he understands the right thing, and it doesn't always work. he got fired for doing the right thing that was supposed to be done. It's like, look, you were just supposed to be a human being, give these people livable wages, and everybody could keep their job. Instead, you now want to, because you want to be the big guy, it's like, it doesn't work that way. That's not how families work. So, and sorts that out, but then he gets fired because he applied to a guy's humanity. And that is how the real world works, right? You think you're doing the right thing, but other people have found ways around doing the good thing or the right thing, and they're doing better than you. And you get angry and upset about that because you've been doing the right thing, And I think that's what this show encapsulates a lot of. It's a guy who's been doing the right thing and got screwed over.
Yeah. Yeah, and you kind of I didn't like Frank as a person in the beginning, but I think as the show progressed, you do get a sense that no matter what, this guy is always there for his family. He may be a total hard ass, but he's just doing it because that's the only way he knows how. And so you can at least understand where he's coming from. It may not be the way that you do it, but at least you can understand that, this is just how he thinks. This is how he knows how to do it.
Yeah.
So you don't hate him entirely. So I don't know if he's likable, but...
No, I wouldn't say likable, but definitely relatable.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
So, I don't know, that's pretty much my general opinion of the show. I liked it. I think I might watch it again at a later date. A second watch through would be interesting, just to sort of see how much of it might be. Now that I know all this stuff, how much of it, in the beginning,
I kind of makes me want to watch BoJack again.
Yeah, well, which we do. We need to review that still. I am hoping for a second season.
Yeah.
As well as... I just wanted to sort of wrap this up because you mentioned that it ends on a cliffhanger, and sure, but I don't think it's a cliffhanger in the same sense. Because if season 2 never comes, I think we're fine. It's a chapter. It's like, think of it or a book, and then so there's a second book coming, and I hope there's a second book coming. But if we never get that second book or the second chapter, I don't think we'll ever be. It won't be a problem. Yeah.
Well, that's a good point.
It's a self-contained story. The 6 episodes are self-contained. You don't need a second season. You don't need next part.
Yeah, it just ends very bittersweet.
Yeah, and then this is the same thing I said about BoJack Horseman. Both seasons of BoJack Horseman. They do leave it open that the next season's going to come, but I felt like, if it never happened, I wouldn't be... I'd be sad that I couldn't watch more of the show. I wouldn't be sad that I wouldn't get the end of the story.
Right.
These are good, these stories are concluded.
Yeah. That's true.
Frank ends in such a way that, the story of Frank ends in the first season ends in such a way that we're like, okay, he doesn't have a job and he has to still supply for his family. What's he going to do?
Yeah.
That's the questions we're left with. But everything else, everything that's been introduced from episode 1 has been sorted out. The job that he's in, the strike that he's in, his kid at school, his kid's favorite band, and his relationship with his neighbor, his relationship with his friends, his relationship with his family.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of story within 6 episodes, if you think about it.
Yeah. No, it is. It's...
A lot of shows don't even get that done in 24 episodes.
And what's interesting is that I didn't feel like it was rushed in any way.
No, not at all.
It just kind of felt like, in this episode we're going to focus on this thing, and okay, that's done. Time for the next thing to focus on.
It's a good... I like the idea of telling one major story, but then telling little adventures, quote-unquote adventures, because this was a real-life docudrama, I guess, because Bill's obviously the youngest. Bill Burr is obviously, the little Bill.
I kind of had the sense that, the little, the middle child was the main character, even before I looked it up, because I don't know, I'm not familiar with Bill Burr, so I had a sense of, the father is based on an actual dad. It's the dad of the creator, and the middle child is...
The dad is very real. The mom is very real. The neighbor is a little unreal. I think that's also the view of a young kid, how he remembers his neighbor.
That wouldn't surprise me.
The neighborhood kids, they're all very real. There's there's no cartoonifying, if you will, of any of the characters. You know, they're
Well,
not
except
clowns.
for the neighbor kid that waddles around in a diaper.
Oh yeah, the two homeless kids. I think they're homeless. I don't know, man.
That would make sense because like one of the kids says, "I'm going home," and he like crawls
an
in.
abandoned washing machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's always carrying he's always wearing a diaper, and I don't know, man. It always looks like the diaper's full.
Yeah, it's really gross.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this has Wesley Boone's "Go watch it" stamp of approval. Boom.
I think if you like BoJack Horseman, like if you're looking for stupid comedy, I'd say keep looking. But if you like comedy with a bit of heart, I'd say go watch it.
Yeah, it's a comedy drama for sure. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's bits of stupid humor in it, but at the end of the day, there's something really warm about it, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of warm, and you just want to wrap it in a blanket and be like, it's okay. It's okay. It'll be okay. I'm here for you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's for sure. You definitely feel bad for the characters.
Just kind of want to wrap it in a blanket, give it some hot cocoa. It's like, it's okay. I believe in you.
Okay, well... That's that for that then. I don't know if there's anything you want to plug. I don't have anything right now. Still working on a whole bunch of nonsense, and I haven't finished up what I said I was going to finish, but I'll get there.
Shame on you.
Yeah, well, I'm a terrible human being. You can send us email at theanonymousanimators@gmail.com. Or you can PM me on the Tumblr, if I even look at it. No, PM me on Tumblr and I'll get to your messages. Or even on the YouTube channel, that's fine too. I haven't been posting on the iTunes because they want me to pay money now. And this is a free podcast and I'm not getting any sponsorship, so that's not going to happen for a while. I'll put it back on iTunes as soon as I can afford it. I mean, it's not that expensive. It's like $50 a year. But I just don't want to spend that right now. Yeah, anything you want to plug?
My usual, neuroticartist.tumblr.com, my DeviantArt, neurostreet.deviantart.com.
Yeah, all the links will be in the doobly-doo.
Yeah. I don't have a workstation right now, so don't expect anything from me.
Same.
We just moved.
We're actually recording from inside our new home.
Yes, we just moved, so we have the computer set up on a wooden folding table.
Yeah, it is terrible.
So.
Okay, so thanks for listening, and we'll probably be posting more frequently.
Hopefully.
If you're a listener who's listening back, I have not posted for like 3 months. But if you're a listener who's listening in the present time of January the 4th.
Yeah, it's like the 3rd?
Yeah, well, we record on the January 4th, or 3rd. Yeah, so I apologize for that, but we'll try our best. Just we had moving and Christmas and all that nonsense.
We had a lot to. We had so much to take care of over the last couple of months. I have been sick as a dog for the past 3 weeks.
So to all my thank you very much for staying and listening, and we'll talk more other cartoons. In fact, we might even get a video segment at some point. I'm looking at making the show a little bit more.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, a little bit more interesting. A little
high
production value.
I can't do the reviews in my pajamas anymore.
Oh. Right, thanks. Goodbye.
Right, bye.